Now here's our guest joining the party.
A
So
really good friend of mine, been friends for over 20 years. This is the quintessential stud muffin, Joel Gertner. Hi, handsome.
Hey,
Hey, how are you?
what's up, Franny? I'm great. How are you?
We're having technical difficulties on my end, so I had to do it
Ooh.
from my phone. I'm usually on my PC, but I couldn't get my mic to work. And Hubs isn't here to help. So, I'm a damsel in distress today, Joel. I
Oh
know.
no,
How are you? What's going on?
I'm so good. How are you
So
doing?
good. So
Yeah.
good. So good. Yeah. So can you tell me about, because I asked you to come on before, but you had an acting gig. Let's start off with that. Can you tell us about that, or is that kayfabe? Am I not allowed to say it? Because we'll cut it out if I'm not allowed to say it.
Yes or no? I mean, I probably can give you a few details.
Okay.
Um, it'll air. Gosh, I mean, if, when I give all the details, it'll be the kind of thing that you could look up and figure out anyway. But it's a show that airs on one of the major streaming networks.
Okay.
It's an episodic show. It will be released in the fall.
Okay. And
Um,
can you give any insight to your character?
my character is featured background. So as long as I don't wind up on the cutting room floor, if they do with me what they've led me to believe they might do with me, it'll be background and it'll be non-speaking, but it'll be prominent so that if you're able to recognize me, I'll be on screen long enough that you'll know it's me.
Are you doing anything that you are going to stand out? Because as workers, we have to put ourselves over. Are you doing anything in that background that I'm going to look at you and say, yeah, I can see Joel amongst a thousand extras, but I
Yes,
just Joel.
yes, in a set of or category that includes 75 extras
Okay.
for the way they use me most prominently. I am one of one out of the 75
I love it.
for
no
a
neck
brief
brace.
moment in time.
But
No
if you
neck
had the neck
brace.
brace, you
No,
could have stood out.
I could have been like 0 of 1. Yeah.
That's great.
Um,
So, by the way, this is Chad, and this is Joel. You guys have never met, so I want to
Never
what's
met.
up,
introduce you.
Chad?
Yes.
I've walked by you a bunch of times at conventions with various people I've been with, but never had the pleasure. So pleasure.
I probably walked by you then and never realized that I hadn't had the pleasure. Now I know.
Joel doesn't put anybody over, so it doesn't matter.
It's all right.
So anyway, I'm kidding.
I'm a lead ass. You don't get a body like this by accident.
I'm kidding.
You want to hug me, you got to lift me.
What else? What else have you been up to, my friend? It's been a while since we've seen each other. I don't even know the last time I've seen you.
Francine, I'm not sure. I'm like Egypt and everywhere. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Whatever, like background acting and substitute teaching and podcasts and merchant services, which is like credit card processing and election poll working. And I don't know. If it makes sense and it's whatever's clever and it doesn't feel like work, and ideally if I'm not doing it 2 straight days, then, perfect.
Yeah, he talks to my husband more than he talks to me, but that's okay. They have their own little chat group. I know about your chat group.
You do?
I'm privy to it. Yeah.
You don't see all the memes that we share, do you?
I've never been in it, but
Okay.
like he'll show me. He'll say, "Look what I put in the chat group," and he'll show, and I just shoot and walk away. Whatever. It's great. They're like,
It's not for mixed company, man. It's not. Some of that stuff is not fitting for a queen of anything.
All I can say is you're all about 14 years old. That's
Oh, yeah.
all I can
yeah.
say about that.
Completely.
Tell us about your teaching gig. What are you teaching?
It's, a lot of the time I'm not really working. I'm just kind of on reserve and I'm there because the state needs a certain ratio of people and you'd be surprised. But as a sub, unless you're actually it's kind of like it's just like baseball, really. If you're not really on the active roster, but you are on the roster, a lot of the time you're kind of just warming the bench. And And that's kind of what it is. So I wind up day trading and doing my stock market mishigas. And
Yeah.
instead of doing it at home on the couch and only making what I kill in the market, I'm doing it at school and I'm gaining a salary, an income stream while I'm day trading. So that in
That's
case I make money, I have two streams. And if I lose money, I have one stream. So it's kind of win-win.
and when you're there, do they just use you for any subject, or is it
Yeah,
whoever doesn't show up, you have to? What if you don't know anything about the subject to teach? Do you just go
I'm
straight through?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm licensed with New York City, with New York State. I'm licensed for common branches, so schoolhouse. So I could do anything: math, English, ELA they call it these days,
I
science, social
is
studies. I could do upholstery. I could do band. I've done
upholstery
girls' PE, whatever,
is upholstery a subject, Joel?
Yeah, upholstery. Yeah.
Okay. Could you
No.
imagine if
Underwater sex ed, or I don't know what they teach these days in school. I have no idea.
could you imagine if like what grade is it?
I teach mostly middle school. I teach
Oh God.
mostly sixth,
Okay.
seventh, eighth.
Perfect.
It's all, yeah, it's terrible. They're
Wait.
like little adults in like the worst way.
So you're dropping your kid off to school, right? You're probably my age or so. You see Joel walking in with like his little briefcase or whatever, and you remember him from ECW, and now terror strikes you because he's teaching your child.
Right. Well, that's one less speech that you've got to give your kid. You know what I mean? Like I take something off your plate. You know what I mean?
You teach
The school that nominated me, which they told me, "Are you sure we should do that?" And then when I went back this year, they were like, "We don't need you." But when I was there, I'm too friendly with the kids. They're like, "Forget it, you're done." I went for October 1st. I went for their first day of this school year. They were like, "Don't call us, we'll call you." But I was there last year until COVID, from like November through March. The kids loved me, and it was in Queens. It was the school that nominated me. A buddy of mine from high school is the assistant principal. They bragged to me, "Hey, you know who tried to get nominated here? Matt Stryker recently, and we turned him down. So we're
Wow.
taking a chance on you."
I love it.
So, yeah.
Oh, you're very intelligent. I mean, we kidding around. We always called Joel an idiot savant in the locker room. You can throw numbers. I remember throwing numbers at you, like crazy numbers, and you would do them all in your head, and you would always get the right answer. Do you remember?
Multiplication was my specialty because I've been reading the damn Observer since '89, and it's like, okay, 1,500 people paid $16 each, and I'm just trying to calculate the gate. You know what I mean? So when you've been doing that for 32 years,
we don't put over those sheets on this.
oh, we don't. Okay,
we don't like them. But anyway, yeah, I just remember always saying, "Hey, Joel, what's 532 times 430?" Then you get your calculator out. He's friggin' right. I'm just like, how do you do this stuff? So smart. Have you been doing any wrestling stuff?
Yeah. This past Saturday, I was ring announcing for VXS, which is Violence Hybridized with Suffering, and they are a pro beauty of violence promotion based out of New Jersey, and I was their ring announcer, and it was a fun time. They had, I don't know if you're gonna go really, really bare case and try to be real conservative, probably 45 people on each side, so I guess that's only 180 paid, but gosh, if it didn't sound like 800, because people are happy to be out. And it was a really, really good time. Brian Cage was on the show, Davey Richards. It was fun.
And see how quick he did the math? 45 people on each side. 180.
Pretty good. I'm sure it was accurate. We just watched you very, very young. Remember that a couple weeks ago? We just saw Joel. We've been watching some fan cams, and we saw you, man. How old were you when you first started in ECW?
Let's preface by saying I'm still young, in case any wrestling offices are watching and they're considering who they might want to be hiring for the third quarter. I'm still young. As a talker, Francine, you know me and you are still young, right? I know you're mommy and you got a couple of kids, but you know how young you are, right?
You just tweeted your age, dum-dum. You tweeted your age in that tweet. Yes, you did, you dummy. So,
Yeah.
you better.
I'm 45. I'm 45.
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
that's still very young today.
I'm going to be 50.
No.
Yes.
Classy Freddie Blassie was out there doing it at like 75, you know?
God bless him. I won't be.
So Francine, we've got time
Okay. Well, that
to
sounds
take
good.
super bombs and everything.
Yeah. No, I'm done.
My mic wasn't working on Saturday, so to have some fun, I did an elbow drop onto it. It wasn't fun the next day. Spoiler alert.
That was the first bump you took in probably 6-7 years, something like that. Yeah.
Intentional. We were doing a Bald Mahoney tribute at House of Hardcore, which doesn't use me. Like Dreamer refuses to use me. I don't know. I'm overqualified, whatever. But Dreamer doesn't want to bring me in, so he doesn't want to have an ECW vibe on the show because there's already 5 ECW guys. So I'm at the HO. The only thing I've ever done for HOH in front of the curtain was they wanted me to be. I was in the room because there was a Icons convention earlier that day. They were doing the Bald Mahoney tribute. So I was happy to be part of it. Me and Danny Doring are the last 2 people to get out of the ring. He's letting me go first, and I try to get out of the ring, and I slipped on the wet banana peel that wasn't there, Francine, and I took a bump on my coccyx. Coccyx, COCXCXCXYXX coccyx. And I swear to God, it was the adrenaline that got me up and moving around so that I could get through the curtain. And I was even fine for the remainder of the day. I woke up the next morning and I thought I had been anally provoked by a cobra that was driving a Mack truck.
You might have been if you stayed at the Travel Lodge that evening.
Oh gosh, the travel. Are we going to talk about the Travel Lodge?
Do you have a fun story to share about the Travel Lodge? Because I've stayed there, but I've seen things, but I've never really partaken in the debauchery that is the Travel Lodge. Do you have a fun story that you're able to tell without getting yourself in trouble?
Oh, let's leave wrestling. Oh, you know what? No, let's leave wrestling out of it. Like, unique from wrestling, completely binary.
Okay.
Let's leave wrestling out of it, right? Let's pretend I wasn't in the wrestling business and I'm going into a room where there's not anybody in the wrestling business, because there wasn't. I check in downstairs at the lobby. They give me my key. I go up to my room. I slip the key in and I walk in. And guess what? Sealing the deal and consummating the marriage, I walked in on a couple on their honeymoon.
At the Travel Lodge.
Of course, at the Travel Lodge. Where else? Where a child once drowned in the pool within 3 months of there being on January 1st, the first murder within the Philadelphia city limits of 1996. Of course, at the Travel Lodge. They put all these things on their brochure. They have -5 stars. They have a -5 Michelin rating. As the person who must not be named would give Ultimate Warrior versus Andre the Giant, they got a -5 star rating.
What did you say when you walked in? Did you critique their performance? Did you go into Joel mode and just?
Yeah, man. No, listen. I looked at her. I looked at him. I looked at her. I looked at her again, and then without moving my glance, I looked at her and I said, "Well." And then I bounced because there was beer in a bathtub 2 floors up where my real room was.
There you go. Yeah, that's a nice memory. We had so much fun back in the day. My God, what do you miss the most from ECW?
Having the same kind of fun that we've been having for the last 5 or 10 minutes, but having it at work while you're advancing your career, hanging out with your friends and chosen family, and being paid relatively handsomely.
Yep, I hear you. I miss the camaraderie the most, I think. Yeah. We think about it a lot. We do a lot of watch alongs, like Chad said. And I haven't watched our stuff in years. We had the network, but I'm not one to go and watch wrestling or watch my stuff anymore. But when we do these watch alongs, it's like a wave that comes over me. Like I get sad and then I get happy and then I get sad again. Cause I miss everybody so much because I don't get to see a lot of people. And that's why when we do these conventions and I get to see you guys, I get overjoyed. You know what I mean? It's like seeing family members that you haven't seen in years. And that's what I miss the most about it. I don't miss the bumps or anything or the ring work per se. I just miss you guys.
I hate that the thing that seems to bring us together the most and more frequently than we'd like is when people in our circle and in our family, when they pass.
Yeah.
It's sad that some of the ones with the most light and the most life and the most kind of just visceral joy, like people like Axel and Jack and Balls, it's sad to see them go. I wish we were able to hang out and express our feelings for each other more often and in a different context.
Yeah, because like when I know when New Jack passed, I was in Indianapolis. I was doing my first convention since COVID. And then like I think you were even in it. We had a thread going and everybody was like, "Oh, I love you, I love you, I love you." And that doesn't come up too often, but when somebody does pass, that's when the emotion comes out. And I'm just like, I feel like I love you guys every day of my life, but we only kind of like say it when somebody dies. It's just weird. Like the group chat was on fire. Like everybody was just texting everybody, and my phone was ringing. And I'm just like, we should really be keeping in touch more as we're living, and not so much when somebody passes away, because then it's not. I mean, you might not get the chance. You know what I mean? Like it's sad. It's sad. It's just, I don't know. But I love everybody and I miss everybody terribly. And I know life goes on and we move on, and I love my life now, but there's a little tiny part of me that I remember all the good stuff that we used to do and all the fun that we had. And, you guys made my 20s a lot of fun. So.
And now there's a digital project that's out there, in development, like a social media kind of marketing kind of. I don't know if you've talked about it much or at all on your show.
I've had Doug on.
Okay, and once that is fully developed and comes to pass and fruition, that is the kind of promising platform that hopefully will bring us together and include the fans interactively and allow us all to throw flowers at each other as we're here and can appreciate it.
Yeah, and that's foreverfan.club, and still in development, like we said. Hopefully it will happen sooner than later. But I just feel like, we have to just appreciate life while we're here. And I try to do that every day, but I'm just so happy. I've been trying to get you on the show forever, and I'm happy
Likewise.
that you finally came on. I have to do your show, I know, so get back
It's
to
a
me.
talent exchange, absolutely.
You will. Before you go, two things. Can you do a limerick off the top of your head for me? Or can you revamp one that you've already done for our listeners?
Yeah, I could do well.
Okay.
It is the lyrical miracle, the sexual, intellectual, the cunning linguist,
Oh.
and the quintessential stud muffin, Joel. I'm the biggest your slutty girlfriend has ever had. I'm the best your filthy mom has ever seen. And don't just take it from the king of libido, me, but take it from the queen of extreme, Francine. Gertner.
He's so good. How do you not hire a guy like this? Why are you not working somewhere? Like somewhere big? Why are you not on TV? Do you have an answer for that? Is it politics? Did you piss somebody off, Joel? What are you doing?
I don't know. Maybe less is more. Maybe I am considered precious cargo. Maybe I am a novelty. Maybe I am typecast. and there is not the realization that I portrayed Joey Jaguar for 4 years in my teens before ECW, so I don't need to be the ECW version of the quintessential stud muffin. I get asked, Francine, in DMs and stuff all the time, and if I'm completely transparent, I'm an open book. If I had an answer, I'd give it.
Yeah.
I don't, and I don't know.
I think you're so good on the mic. Like, and I've said that for years. I just don't know why you're not working somewhere on television.
Coming from you, I just appreciate hearing the question coming from you. Like, I don't have an answer, but I appreciate the fact that you've asked. That means a lot.
I would enjoy seeing you. Maybe I would watch a wrestling show if Joel was on it, but I digress. Anyway, let's plug some stuff. What do you got going on? Where can people find you? Let us know.
Cool. On Twitter, Stud Muffin Says. And actually, one of my most recent tweets, it's getting a lot of traction. It's going viral-ish. Is where I mentioned that I have just exited my 5,840-day non-compete clause that I signed at ECW One Night Stand 05. So that has over 1,200 likes last I looked since last night. So for me, that's a big deal. So if you could find that, retweet it, and throw it up to your own flagpole, I'd love that the most. But that's me on Twitter, Stud Muffin Says. On Instagram, I am Quintessential Stud Muffin. On YouTube, the name of my channel is the name of me, Joel Gertner. You can find me on Cameo, where Inside Baseball, backstory, even though my wife really wanted, I was already with Celeb VM. My wife was like, you should do Cameo. I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll get around to it. I'm on Celeb VM. It's not a big deal. Francine, the queen, took precedence on Cameo over my wife and impressed upon me so that she could be my referral and pimp that I should join Cameo. So now every time I pamp myself, like one week I had 6 cameos and I was thinking to myself, Francine's just sitting around at home, you know, making bank. So Francine's like, you don't do enough cameos for me to make bank.
Listen, what did I tell you when you joined? I said, let me know when you're going to record because I will retweet it for you. He never lets me know. So
I should do that.
You should do that because if I don't check Twitter, I don't know you're recording.
I'm lazy, Francine. I hate work. I have bad work ethic. Maybe that's why. You know what? Punish me. Send me cameos en masse. Everybody watching this, just for fun. It's only $50. Like, send a cameo to me. Overload me. The most I've ever done in a week is 6. Because I'm saying I don't like doing them. Ugh, such a Caucasian conundrum. Such a rich person's dilemma. Just shoot me like 18 of them to do this week as a punishment. And if I get 18, because that's the random number I just picked, I promise I will donate a significant portion, as I always do, to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. But yeah, Cameo Joel Gertner, ProWrestlingTees.com/Joel Gertner. And my podcast is the 69-minute Eargasm. I already spoiled on That Was Extreme Zoom last night. Hopefully he didn't get wind of it, and hopefully it won't make him rescind his offer. But scheduled to record with me for sometime tomorrow afternoon is Alberto El Patron, which should be a really, really interesting podcast if he and I can sync that up for tomorrow. But most recently, we've had Tyson Kidd on, TJ Wilson. We did a 2-parter with him. And that podcast is a lot of fun. And then me and Blue Meanie and Josh Chernoff do That Was Extreme. That's a podcast that airs once a month on the 1st of the month. And then also around the 1st of the month or on the 1st of the month, we do a Zoom call in the evening on ad-free shows. And it's free on Patreon. And that's what I've got going on. I'm going to be at the Legends thing in Hamburg this month. And I've got some other stuff, but the best way to see what that is every couple of weeks is to just make sure that you're tuned into the social media.
Yeah, and I retweeted the one tweet where you listed everything that you have going on. And I think that's the one where you said your age as well. So I I retweeted that for you because you did have your Cameo profile. See, I will help you if you let me know when you're willing to work. I need to know. I'm not a
45, Francine. You're not 50 yet, are you?
February.
Did you know Paul Heyman, our mentor, as outside of the ring wrestling, non-wrestling personalities? Did you know that Paul Heyman, quite arguably, but not at all debatably, I feel comfortable saying this, hit his peak, if he's even hit it yet? But of his living years so far, he hit his career peak between the ages of 50 and 55. Did you know that?
I didn't know that, but I think I hit mine at like 27. So
No, Francine. No, you're not done. No. No. Francine, you were a princess then, trying to be a queen. Now you are, for a generation and more, a queen in your own right.
Joel Gertner, so charming. So charming. Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate you. And I'm glad you and I are still friends. Hit me up when I can do your show in the future. We'll figure something out. And I'm glad you and Chad finally got to meet. Big fan.
Again, my pleasure. My pleasure.
Yeah, this was fun.
Thank
Do you
you.
have anything to close with? Final thoughts?
No, not really.
Okay. There you go. There you go.
The existence of aliens
Yeah.
was proven in 1969. It was proven when aliens invaded the moon. But aside from that, I've got nothing.
You got nothing. Do you believe in alien abductions?
I do. I think we never know what happens to us in our sleep. And I think if aliens are more intelligent than we are, which if they can abduct us and we can't abduct them, then they must be. If they are then more intelligent than we are, why would they try to abduct us while we're awake when it would be so much easier to do so while we're sleeping? So I have no idea whether I could have been at the Travelodge for all I know. I don't know.
Do you ever, real quick, I think, okay, we're on Earth, we're human. Couldn't there be like one of the other planets that have humans on it, just like the way we live?
They say that we could have come here from Mars.
Is it Mars?
They say that we could have come here already from Mars. So rather than
we're immigrants.
We're all immigrants.
Wow.
We should lead out with the immigrant song. And then it's either Pablo or whoever used it with ECW or but yeah, we should.
What was it?
We could all be immigrants. I don't know. They say that we could be previous Martians, and cats also could be previously from Mars. Us, cats, dogs, yeah. I mean, listen, there were moon dogs, you know what I mean? And in various territories, you know what I mean? There were national moon dogs, global. There were, some moon dogs never made it out of Portland.
That's crazy. Oh, final thought. That's a good one. I'm going to ponder that over the weekend.
Francine, think about this. Like, what if it's not our first time around? You know what I mean? Like, what if society made it to these technological levels that we're at in the year 2021, and then after that, something bad happened. There was an obliteration, and we had to start all over again. And the Earth that we're in right now is actually Earth version 4.0.
So this isn't our first barbecue, is what you're saying?
Might not be. We could have made it to the year 10,000 in the lost city of Atlantis. Who knows? Anything's possible.
Wow, you're blowing my mind right now. But we're going to continue this conversation when I come on your show because there's a lot of things to think about. I'm confused as all hell, but we're going to talk about it further at another time. But thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. Love you.
I love you too, and we'll definitely keep in touch. I hope to see you soon. And keep acting like you're 14 with my husband. Keep him in check.
Will do.
Love you, buddy.
Love you.
See ya.